I'm Andy Davis.
I'm Dori Davis.
Yeah, we've been coming to Grace since 3 months after it started, basically. Yeah, I actually met Dana Stewart working at his house, and he told me that he had lived in California, and I shared that I had lived there for a while as well. And I just asked him, what brought you to this area? He tells me, my son-in-law is starting a church, and we weren't going to any church at the time because every church had shut their doors. And so we said, hey, what are we going to lose? We might not be going to this church long, but let's try it out.
It was mind-bending almost. We had been church shopping, and you know that process. If you've ever done church shopping, you go and you listen to the music and you listen to the preaching and you talk to the people, and everyone was so kind and friendly, and we had young kids and they were very welcoming to us. And then we heard the worship music and we were like, whoa, is this heaven? And then we heard Pastor John preaching and we were like, where do we sign up? How do we get into this?
I remember we got in the car after that first service and we just kind of said, well, what do you think? And we looked at each other, both of us were thinking, yeah, I think we'll probably end up staying here, but I don't quite want to say that yet. But yeah, I think this is the place. The churches that we were attending had a totally different emphasis where they were teaching truth, but we knew that we couldn't raise our kids here long term because the grace element was not there. The Hebrews in the synagogue were amazed at the graceful words that Jesus spoke, and he was speaking truth. It was hard-hitting truth that was uncomfortable for them, but he was filled with grace and truth. And I believe we found that at Grace, where we're learning truth. It's not pharisaical at the same time, and it's given with a heart of love. That was really important to us. We knew we wanted our kids to grow up in that. Otherwise, they're not gonna be a member of a church for long.
I have learned more about the gospel at Grace than anywhere else in my life. I had read a book several years ago called Risen Motherhood, and in it she talks all about the gospel. Gospel this, gospel that, and I hate to say it, but I was like, what's this about the gospel? Like, why do we, that's something for children. Sounds so terrible to say that, but I knew that Jesus came, that he died, that he rose again. When I was 4 years old, I asked Christ to save me from my sin, and it was my understanding that now that I've accepted the gospel, that's great, and now on to bigger and better things. And so now I got to conquer my list, right? I got to read my Bible, and I got to pray, and I got to go to church. And I didn't realize that the gospel is actually the motivator to do all those things. I had no idea that you needed to rehearse the gospel every single day. Doing that and coming to an understanding about that has really changed my life. It's changed my parenting, it's changed my marriage, because now there's so much more hope. There's a reminder of God's grace, there's a reminder of forgiveness, there's reminders that God is with me night and day.